Hi everyone, my name's PJ and I'm here with Rose. As a part of the Headway team, we connect those impacted by concussion and brain injury with information, education and support. Thank you for joining us for a brief snapshot of key learnings from Headway's Lunch and Learn series, Memory. We're guided by brain injury experts along with experts in our community with lived experience. In this brief presentation, we will be covering what is memory, what happens after a brain injury, and the latest research and hope. So if you're interested in learning more about brain injury and health, then keep an eye out for the upcoming lesson sessions so we can get started. Rose, what is memory?
Thanks, PJ. It's a good question. What is memory? So memory is the brain's ability to take in information, store it, and bring it back when we need it. It's how we learn, recognize people, follow conversations, and even know who we are. There are 3 stages of memory. The first stage is when you take something in. So let's say you meet someone and hear their name. This is when your brain first notices something and takes in that name. Following that is the storage stage. If you can imagine your brain being like a filing cabinet, your brain stores that name, files it away for safekeeping for when you need it to retrieve it at a different point in the future. And then finally the recall stage. Let's say you see this person again at a later date, then you'll go back into that filing cabinet to recall their name. So a memory problem can actually be a problem in any one of these stages. Let's have a look at the different types of memory. So we have the short-term and working memory and the long-term memory. The short-term memory is when we hold something briefly. Let's say you're shopping around for something and you see a price. You hold that price in your short-term memory. Perhaps you then see a different price and so you compare those 2 prices. This is what we call the working memory. So really it's like your short-term memory in action. And this is why often the short-term and working memory work together. Long-term memory is your brain's long-term storage system, your knowledge, experiences, and skills over time. So memory isn't just one system, it's multiple systems working together. Research tells us that often long-term memories, especially older ones, can remain intact after a brain injury. However, it's important to remember that everyone's journey is unique. So what happens after a brain injury? After a brain injury, memory can change in the same, but not always in the same way for everyone. So depending on the injury and what parts of the brain are impacted, you might have difficulty with, for example, taking in information, storing, and retrieving that information. Some people remember everything from before their injury but struggle with new information. Others might lose parts of their past but learn new things just fine. As said before, this is why memory is different for everyone. Let's have a look at research and hope. Memory is not all or nothing, and neither is recovery. The brain has an incredible ability called neuroplasticity, which means it can reorganize, form new connections, and adapt after injury. Even after parts of the brain are damaged, other parts can step in and help. And what's really encouraging is what we do matters. Headway was fortunate to attend an amazing seminar on memory and heard the distinguished neuroscientist Professor Cliff Abraham speak on brain health and memory. He told us the single most important thing you can do for your memory is to do novel things. So this idea of novelty is about doing new things as often as you can. For example, learning a new language or even a new greeting, perhaps a new recipe. Research also tells us that new and meaningful experiences are more likely to be remembered because they activate key memory areas of the brain. So doing something new, even something small, helps your brain build and strengthen memory pathways. New experiences help grow new connections. Now I'm going to pass you back to PJ. PJ, talk to us about sleep.
One practical research-backed action is sleep. So one of the most powerful and often overlooked things for memory is sleep. Now during sleep, the brain actually replays and strengthens memories, helping move them into long-term storage. Sleep is where the brain does its saving. So work on good sleep and the practices that we do during the day that support good sleep. So one final message. While memory might feel different after brain injury, it's not fixed or stuck. Through neuroplasticity, new experiences, and things like good sleep, the brain can continue to learn, adapt, and improve. So we hope that by understanding how memory works, it'll help us be a little bit more kinder to ourselves and remind us that change still is possible. So guys, thank you so much for joining us in this short snapshot on memory. Be sure to look out for the next Lunch and Learn series. Thank you.
Kia ora.